comes after a long year for French Jews who have warned of an increasingly hostile atmosphere in France. Joining me now, Jonathan Laurence, non-resident senior fellow in foreign policy studies at the Brookings Institution and author of The Emancipation of Europe's Muslims. Jonathan, I know you've studied and written about the Jewish community in France, which of course is the largest in all of Europe, and it has to be a very, very dark and painful night for French Jewry tonight.
I think that's absolutely right, and unfortunately it is not the first this year, and it's been several tragedies in a row, starting with 2012's murder in Toulouse, 2014 in the month of May in Brussels, and of course this week all three acts committed by Frenchmen targeting Jews explicitly. It's a very depressing day for French Jewry.
What has the reaction been among French Jewry? Obviously, the synagogue in Paris not doing Shabbat services tonight for the first time since World War II. A lot of fears about the safety of French Jews, talk of moving to Israel. What have you heard in the wake of this?
Well, already 2014 was a record year for French Jewish emigration to Israel. Approximately 7,000 French Jews made Aliyah to Israel this year. That is about twice the number in the previous year and a number that hadn't been reached for about a decade. So clearly there is some pessimism about the direction that France is going. I don't think anybody doubts the government's resolve to try and protect them. I think that when you have one incident after another, and again with the body count of 4 more dead French Jews today, it just becomes almost too depressing to go on. On the other hand, France is the country that emancipated Jews formally as soon as the revolution was done in the 18th century, and it's a country great opportunities for Jews over the years. They've had Jewish French prime ministers, artists, writers. There's no reason to allow these terrorists to end that rather grand tradition. And while it's understandable that some may seek to move to Israel for security's sake, hopefully they will not be ethnically cleansed from France just because of these terrorists.
Are there any formal means by which the fairly robust Jewish community in France and the much larger Muslim minority of France, who at different times have both been the targets of majoritarian prejudice, of the right, are there any means by which those two groups interface in any formal way, or are they fairly alienated as a sort of factual political matter?
Well, like elsewhere, the Israeli-Arab conflict has taken its toll on Muslim-Jewish relations in France. However, there is a long tradition of interreligious dialogue, and that's something that the French government has encouraged formally for the last 12 years or so by getting Muslim leaders from the French Council for the Muslim Faith together with French Jewish leaders from the Representative Council for Jewish Institutions in France, and essentially forcing them to sit around a table and recognize their common interests. And when it comes to questions like halal food or kosher slaughter, they do have a lot in common. When it comes to the expression of religious symbols in the public sphere, they also share many traits. And when the French were debating the legislation that eventually banned headscarves for girls in K through 12, Jewish leaders were at the forefront testifying on behalf of French Muslims in order to allow them to keep their headscarves. So there are commonalities, and although these are extremely trying times, it's worth noting that among the first people to pay their condolences at the offices of Charlie Hebdo were French Muslim leaders, and that kind of solidarity, I think, will continue even as French Muslim leaders are painted into a corner.
Jonathan Laurence, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.